Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a translation of a message that I received, and the translation of that message, it reads like this. Hello, Brother Nashi, how are you? Can you please post my story as hidden identity? I am a Zimbabwean man that is currently working here in South Africa. I have worked since in June. I have not yet received my salary. I am working for a South African couple, and they are, as speaking, they do own a farm. So I used to work at the farm, but now there is nothing there. Now I am working in Joburg. So they have many homes that they do have. Currently at the place where I am staying in a complex. So at this complex where I am staying, they have two houses that are next to each other. It has been a long time since these houses, they have failed to get some tenants so that the tenants can be in the house. I did not even know that these two people that were staying in their houses, they all left at the same time, at the same month, because of some of the activities that were happening at this house. It even happened that there was a thief that was caught. Those people that tried to steal copper cables, there is a thief that gained access into the complex and then entered into that other house that I want to talk to you about. When he got in there, he only stripped only the copper from the kitchen sink. That is all that he was able to strip, the copper pipes underneath the kitchen sink, and from there on he was unable to do anything. They found him lying on the floor, and when the security asked him what was he doing and what had caused him to remain where he was for many days, because when they found him, he was claiming that he had been in that house for almost 4 days. He was starving to death, and where he was cacking himself, and he was even urinating on himself. He was unable to move. He said that he saw a skeleton that just appeared out of nowhere when he was sitting, as he was busy trying to remove the copper pipes from underneath the kitchen sink. Then he felt that there was someone that was scratching his back. When he turned around, that was when he saw, he said, a skeleton that had black eyes that was looking at him, and then he felt as if he was paralyzed. He was unable to move his body, and he was unable to do anything until the securities found him where he was. So at that time, I was working at the farm. My boss then said, since the people that used to rent these 2 units that belongs to him have moved out, and now there were thieves that were entering into the units, then he needed me to be staying there as a caretaker. I said it is okay. When I moved into the complex, there was another man who came to me, and then we started talking. He then told me that the people that were staying at the units which I am looking after, all of them, their kids will get sick at the same time. At first they thought that maybe they had some allergies, because these kids, they used to play together, and then they stopped interacting, but these kids, they would always fall sick at the same time. If one would have a running stomach, the other kid will also have a running stomach. If the other one would be bleeding from the nostrils, then the other one would be bleeding as well at the same exact moment. The other couple, they went to their church, and then they were told that the house where they were staying, it is a portal for demons. Demons, they come in and go as much as they want, because that house, when it was built, there was something that was done in the foundation of that house so that it can become a portal of demons. And then they went together and they consulted, and they were told that their children, since they were still young, what they will do is that when these demons are accessing their homes as a portal, then the children will see everything and react because kids, they are innocent, therefore they can know if there is something that is happening spiritually in the spiritual realm. So they decided to just leave everything and they went out. They even paid my boss money in advance, and they paid 3 months rentals in advance. So my boss, he then said that he does not want me to stay at the farm anymore. Little did I know that there was something that had already happened behind the scenes to where I am right now. So what has brought me, it is the other house where that thief was caught. There is something that is really weird that happens almost each and every night. At first, I did not notice the things that were happening, but now I have started to notice when I am sitting in the house which I'm looking after. When I look outside, I can see the other house. Like, even if there is someone that is walking in the house, I can see that person. So 2 months after I had started staying at this complex, that was when something weird really happened. It was late at night, and then I saw that the lights in that house were switched on, but I had switched them off because my boss said to make people not to suspect that there is no one that is staying here. What I want you to do is that you switch on the lights, then later on in the evening you go there and you switch off. So at around past 8, half 8, that is when I usually go, and when I go there, then I switch off the lights. So I had already done that, and then when I was sitting just close to the window, then I noticed that the lights had been turned on, and it was really weird for me because I could not understand how was it even possible that the lights can be switched on, yet I had switched them off. And then when I went there, to my surprise, I switched them off, and then they switched themselves on. Whilst I was still standing in the kitchen, I switched the lights off, and then they turned on again. I just came out of that house running like a madman. That is what happened at that time, Brother Nashi. So right now, what has been happening is that whenever I am sitting outside, I always see that there is someone that would be walking in that house. This usually happens late at night from half 8 until around about 10. That is when this person will stop walking around that house. When I asked my boss about this, my boss, he surprised me. He told me that I am someone that is good for nothing, and he has made a favor for me because I do not even have a work permit. So I don't know, what am I supposed to do? I have not been paid by my boss. He's saying that I am too good for nothing. If I had not asked him why I saw a person that was walking in the other house, he was going to pay me. He just said, because you asked me, my things are no longer going the way that they are going. My businesses are really down. So whenever I have money, I am going to give you your money, but know that you are the one to be blamed, because if you had not asked me, then my things will be running smoothly. So here I am stuck. I really do not know what I am supposed to do. I am just working and I don't have salary, but he buys food for me. I do have a wife back home and I really need this job. Please, I want your listeners to advise me. When you post my story, please tell me. I'll be following through in the comment section. Yo, dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear brother. Should you continue working there, brother, or you should just try to look for another job somewhere else? But he is saying that the problem that he has is that he does not have a work permit, and all that he has is this job, and his boss knows about that. Strange things they do happen in this world. Then there is another message that I'm going to be sharing with you. The message, it reads like this. Hello, Brother Nashi, how are you? Can you please post my story as hidden identity? I am a woman that comes from Zim, and now I am staying here in Ireland. I first went to Botswana, I was staying in Gaborone. That was where I was staying with my husband. The problem with my husband was that he was someone that was a professional. He was working as a lecturer, and he used to cheat on me. And then I started applying for a job, and I got a job at this other private clinic in Johannesburg, and then I moved to South Africa with my husband as well. The reason as to why I just wanted to focus on myself, it was because I was tired of the way that my husband had been cheating on me. So I worked as a nurse at a small private clinic between 2015 and 2017. I did not even know that the place where I was working at, it was a satanic private clinic where they used to bring in bodies of people that had died. It's either they had been shot dead, they had been stabbed to death, or they had an accident. The only bodies that they used to bring at that private clinic, they were the bodies of people that had been traumatized just before they had died. They will never bring the bodies of people that had died after a long illness. So when I started working in South Africa, the first company that hired me, like, the salary was okay, but I desired more. I wanted more until I got this job offer and I started working at that clinic, and the money that they were offering me, it was double more than what the government hospitals were offering. When I started working there, everything felt normal until I started to realize that they will always bring these dead bodies, and it was very weird because these dead people that they brought to the clinic, they would always say that they were patients, and they would be brought in unmarked ambulances. You would think that it is just a normal taxi that is driving around, but it would be carrying a dead person. Later on, I became friends with this other woman who was a South African, who told me a lot of stuff. She told me that she was traumatized because of the work that she was doing at that clinic. She told me that they were doing what they called post-trauma cell studies, and later on, that was when I was called by our supervisor, whom I will call Dr. Kumalo. He said that he also wanted me to be part of his team, and I was not supposed to ask many questions. He said that my duty was to observe, to record vitals, and to keep quiet. It was very strange that you have to record the vitals of someone that is already passed away, that is stored up in the mortuary. So I started working, and the pay that I was getting, it was quite good. Later on, that was when I started to notice that these dead bodies that would be brought into the clinic, when they were taken to the mortuary, it was as if these people, they were breathing. We would even be given instructions to hook them up to an oxygen breathing machine, yet these people, they were already dead. There were times when the doctors would come and they would always give us a syringe, and we were told to put this other red brownish fluid. It was as if blood that had mixed with water, and I was supposed to inject that red brown fluid into the veins of the dead bodies. And they used to do a lot of weird stuff to these people that would have been brought to the clinic. And I realized that each and every time when I would be working on the so-called patients, because even though they were dead, you were supposed to say that they were patients, to treat them as if they were still alive and still breathing. I noticed a pattern that all the people that were being brought to the clinic, those were the people that had died from trauma, an accident, or had been killed by someone else, or committed suicide. And one thing that also happened when I started working, my boss came and gave me a necklace and told me that I was supposed to wear that necklace to work almost 3 times a week, and it was an expensive diamond necklace, and I was happy, but I did not know that him giving me the necklace, it meant something in the spiritual realm. Later on, I started being invited to other rituals. So these rituals, they would happen each and every last Friday of the month. All those that were involved in this project, we were required to stay behind, and they made sure that you would work day shift, not night shift. Then later on in the evening, when everything was quiet, then you were supposed to do an inventory audit, but it was not a real audit. Like, we would be instructed to bring 7 metal beds, and we would line them up in a circle, and we had to light the candles and strip ourselves naked, and there were these big mirrors that we would put in the middle of the circle, and there was always this Nigerian doctor that would always come, and he would lead everyone into the ritual that was happening. And at the time of the ritual, it was as if those dead bodies, they were alive, and in the middle of the circle you would see that there would be a flame that would be burning, and then this Nigerian man, he would just disappear. So we would be given money. You will see money in your account the next morning, and it will be your bonus. So those that were involved in this project, we will get paid first, our bonuses, then the salary will enter into our accounts after the bonus would have been paid. I realized that there were people in my family that started dying. I had my relatives that were already here in South Africa that started dying one by one. So as a family, we then started going around visiting prophets. The day as a family, when we went to visit a certain prophet, that was when I realized that there are a lot of things that happen when you go to consult. Because when we were kneeling down in front of the prophet, me and the prophet in the spiritual realm, we started to talk with each other. The prophet was the one that started to talk with me in the spiritual realm. He told me that he had already been told by my bosses, the Satanists that I was working for, and they had given him a warning not to expose me because they were much more powerful than he was. And what he had been told to do was that he was supposed to use his marine spirits so as to expose my other sister. So my sister, she did not know that she had a marine spirit that was possessing her body, and no traditional ceremony had been performed. So that prophet then started to speak with that marine spirit, and when the marine spirit came out, when my sister started to manifest, people thought that she was the one who was a ritualist. To the day that she died, people did not want to associate with her because they were scared that she was a ritualist, yet I was the one that sacrificed people in the family. I returned to South Africa. I sacrificed my ex-husband, and I saw that there was no end to the rituals that we were performing at that clinic. That was when I decided that it was enough. I just wanted out, and I ran away from South Africa, and I came to Ireland, where I am currently staying to this very day. This is my confession. When you post my story, please tell me. I'll be following through in the comment section. Dear listeners, right, there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear sister. Let us try to speak with our dear sister in the comment section. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world. Have you ever worked at a certain clinic where you can say that there were things that were happening at that clinic, things that you did not understand? If so, you can come to my inbox and you can share with me your own side of the story.